Hi, I'm Carlene, and this is Diva Tonight. Hi, I'm Carlene, and this is Diva Tonight. And we have a special guest. Her name's Sophie James, and she's a female empowerment coach. She also has her own podcast, Sophie Empowers Poscast. Hi, Sophie.
Hi, Carlene.
So you are a female empowerment coach, and we discussed that mental fitness, right? That's something that you focus on. It's very interesting. I've never spoken about that. So for those of us that don't know, what is mental fitness?
As easy as it sounds, you know what physical fitness is, right? We go to the gym, we work out. If you want to work a certain muscle, like you have to do the exercise needed to build the muscle. It's all over your body, mental fitness. It's similar to this. You just work out the brain muscles needed to see life in a sage perspective. And what that means is you just see life in a more positive light. You find the gift and the opportunity in all kind of negative situation. No matter what's going on, by working these muscles, you will be able to overcome these situations faster than you used to.
Okay, so how do we work out our mental muscles? Are we reading more, listening to music? I don't know, listening to videos? Like, how do we make sure our mind is clear? I know probably sleep is one of them, but like, how do we do that?
So yes, like reading, listening to certain things is really good. It's pretty much in a nutshell is doing 15-minute exercise, what I call mental fitness exercise. It's almost like meditation or sounds that actually help you see things in a positive light. That's pretty much it. And then usually we do that like 15 minutes a day, like 2 minutes at a time. And it really relaxes you and it helps you calm your mind so that you can overcome whatever obstacles you're facing at that moment. Let's say if you work your 9 to 5, right? And then you have to go from meeting to meeting to meeting to meeting. You can find 2 minutes to go to the bathroom before your next meeting. That will just calm you down. Have your, let's say your mind open for the next meeting. So you'll be like, information will come to you as easy as possible, and you'll be able to make better decisions. Instead of jumping from one meeting to another, you're not even done like dealing with whatever that other meeting was about, and then you have to go to another meeting. So I always recommend to take a 2-minute break, listen to it's like positive intelligence videos that you listen to just for 2 minutes. It's more like a meditation. If you do meditate, you will probably definitely know what it is. Yeah, that's pretty much what that is. Because your brain usually wanders, your mind wanders to all these negative places. So you have to command your mind to come back and stop wandering away.
Yeah. So like, is it 2 minutes to like take a few breaths in? What are you doing in that 2 minutes?
You take a few breaths in. It's like little sense exercise. So what I call with a 2 minutes of self-command exercise is, let's say you're feeling a little anxious, right? You're thinking about things in the future that haven't happened yet, but you just worried, oh my God, what can I do? What should I do? All of this. I recommend you to sit down and you do what I call the self-command exercise. Is just touching your palm and just command your mind to just feel that sensation. As you're doing it for 2 minutes, pretty much you're kind of forgetting what you were worrying about for the past few minutes. And then you're just concentrating on that sense. So from there now, you tell your mind where you want it to go. Instead of having your mind directing your life or telling you what to do, you tell your brain, all right, let's stop worrying about this. Oh, this feels nice. Let's not worry about this. It's not going to happen right now. What good does it do to me to worry about something I have no control over? So you start asking yourself this question, what can I do different? How can I make the situation better? So just by doing this 2-minute exercise, it's just help you calm down.
What is the importance of mental fitness? Like, we know they always talk about physical, but like we also talk about, I think during this 1 year of like lockdown and everything, how important mental health is, right? So
Yes.
why is mental fitness important?
As much as physical fitness is important to be healthy, it's mental fitness is part of it. A healthy life, I believe your mind, your body, and your soul have to be in alignment. Once everything is aligned, then that's how you have a healthy life. But we only focus on the physical fitness. A lot of us don't focus on our mental health. And every time there's all this mental health, different ways on how you can take care of your mental health. Yes. And just focusing also on the core muscles in your brain. These it's gonna take like three core muscles. That kind of you just have to strengthen every time you do this exercise. So it helps you understand your judge. The judge is the voices in your head. Why are these voices here? What is this voice is telling me? So the more you do this exercise, you understand more what is in your head, your limiting belief, where does it come from? And then you also strengthen what I call the sage, which means making decision in a positive light. Because when you're overwhelmed, we tend to make decision that's probably not suitable. It may not be the right decision at the moment. You react based on your emotions instead of reacting based on what I call the facts or a calm self. So yeah, it's very important, no matter what it is, whether it is your relationship, whether it is relationship with yourself, first of all, your significant other, and even your professional life. The better decision you make or the more positive aspect of life that you see, I will say, you're gold, man. That's what I call health. That's what I call health, seeing things in a more positive aspect of life.
So tell me about yourself. You're a female empowerment coach. So what is it exactly that you do to help your clients? So obviously you focus on mental fitness, right? But just to get more about your background and what you do.
Before I get there, I guess I need to tell you guys a little bit of where I came from.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Well, originally, if you probably heard the accent, I'm from West Africa, Benin. French is my first language. That was kind of one of my limiting beliefs. Oh my God, nobody will ever understand me, my accent. I can never do these things. So background, Africa, I came to America with my mom when I was 16, right? So I went to school, everything was fine. And then I got married and I had children. I got married at the age of 21.
Wow.
A lot of people will tell you, yes, it's really young to get married at 21 because you're still trying to figure yourself out. I was, all of this. And then I had to go figure it out another person. Ooh, my husband. So around that time, I felt like I've lost myself as an individual, as a person, as a woman. And I became the wife. And then I became the mom, and then 2 years ago, I became a mom again. So I have two children right now. And I feel like what was that, 3 years? I was married. A year later, I have a child. 2 years later, I have another one. And I never had time to sit down and really reflect about who I am. And then another thing that I realized, I had postpartum depression. That in my community, we don't talk about this. We didn't even know what that was. Like African parents, they never taught us about mental health. Well, what does that mean, right? So trying to do research about figuring why am I feeling this way? Why don't I don't have any energy? I don't have any of these things. I look more into different holistic ways of doing things. And, I hired a coach myself because I was like, wow, you help people do this. Can you help me? So the coach did help me break out of so many limiting beliefs, so many barriers. And I was like, oh my God, how can I repay the world? How can I help? Because I realized a lot of my friends as well were in the same situation as me. And we were kind of like the one everybody used to come to get advice from, either whether it's relationship, we were like the youngest couple who got married within our friends. So they were like coming to us like, I'm like, okay, there's something here. I guess I gave some pretty good advice. But then I decided, after having a coach for myself, hiring a coach for myself, that I would like to help. I would like to help someone who felt like I was, who was in that depressing mode, didn't have any energy to do anything, no motivation whatsoever, full of limiting belief, right? The woman who didn't think that she was capable of doing something great in life, because I felt like that. And I found that support that was able to open my eyes and realize my potential, my gift. And I wanted to repay that to the world, and I became a coach. So I started as a relationship coach because I was like, I'm married, so I can give relationship advice to young women like me. And I did that for quite a while. And then I realized it's not really about the marriage. Once we started to talk to figure it out, it was more about how the woman felt about herself. It started to affect the marriage, the insecurities, the lack of confidence, and all of this. I was like, I'm not just a marriage or relationship coach. I am a woman empowerment. I empower you to become your authentic self. So I finally gain the confidence that you need to achieve your most desirable goals, the goals that you never thought you could have achieved in life. So it's more like I share my story and we talk about what's going on. We work on our mindset through mental fitness, but it's not just mental fitness, it's beyond. Because once you have a better understanding of the judge, the voices in your head, the limiting belief, where does it come from? It's easy for you to take the next step. So, and that's where we are right now.
Wow. Where did you meet your husband?
We were in college together. So I was 18 and I first moved from Michigan to Pennsylvania. Yeah, I moved all over the place. So we met in college. We pretty much started dating shortly after. Nothing serious. We're just hanging out here and there. And I guess just the relationship just progressed. And then we got married a couple years down the road. So I was 18, 21, like 3 years later, we got married. So yeah. I have two little ones, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old.
So you're busy, right? Especially during this time. Yeah. And then you help other women. Yeah, that's amazing. How has it been, I think, during the pandemic? Like if you were to talk about like just how you said relationships have to do with the woman itself. Like I think there's always that thing where it's like more or less it takes two to focus on the relationship, but you're talking about like women as well, because you suffered from postpartum. And I think you touch on a couple of things that is true, like especially in not only in African culture, but in some Caribbean cultures, like mental health, like we don't talk about it a lot. It's like that elephant in the room where it's like, if there's an issue, you don't really talk about it. So we often have to educate ourselves. So what I want to know is like just postpartum, you know what I mean? How did you work on that? You said you found a coach. Is that who helped you during that time or?
So it was pretty much the coach did help. Well, you have to go to a doctor first, okay?
Right.
I'm not a doctor, just so you know, disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. If you feel you have certain symptoms, please talk to the doctor and see the best ways. Some people go on medication and that worked great for them. And you also have all the things you can add to it. Don't just rely on the medication only. The medication is fine. So I like to use different aspects as well, like the mental fitness. I didn't do mental fitness at the time. I recently found the mental fitness part of thing, but it's all about a mindset work, which is same thing with the mental fitness. You just work on your mindset. You set goals for yourself, small little goals. It doesn't have to be drastic things. And pretty much appreciating everything. Gratitude was actually the number one thing that kind of helped me get out of bed. Being able to be grateful for my children, because if you don't look at things that are important to you right now, you're not really not going to understand anything later on, like you want bigger goals, right? Even though at this moment, I'm just trying to explain this as easy as possible. And I'm probably getting myself lost in my own explanation. But gratitude for sure was my number one thing that I had to work on. Learning to be grateful for what I have. Then self-love was the second thing, because after having children, it's like my body definitely changed. I wasn't the skinny little girl anymore. It did change. And I had to come to that realization that I am a mom. As long as I am healthy, my size doesn't matter. I am healthy. And by healthy now, that's when I started to realize health is not about how little you eat. It's more about your mindset, your physical. Do you move every day? What do you do? What I eat, do I eat anything healthy? Or what I eat, does it nourish my body? Or is it going to destroy my body in a way? So there's so many things that I had to keep in count when I was going through my journey. It wasn't even any like big exercise, really. Or I'll probably just pick up my children and just walk up and down the stairs 2 times. And you know what? That's good for today. Because I had a small kid at the time, so I couldn't really go to the gym. And I used to really beat myself up for not going to the gym. But I'm like, I got like a 20-pound baby here. Lift it up and go up and down the stairs. That's my gym. And that's pretty much how I pretty much went back on the wagon of working out and eating healthy. It's just by taking small step every day. And that's what a healthy life is. Take small step every day toward your future goal. Don't just focus on the big goal that's probably 5 years from now. Focus on the small step that you can take that will bring you closer to your bigger goal. And then learning to stay organized in a way that also did help.
Is that how you essentially you help your clients as well?
I usually help busy women. They either have children, they have the 9 to 5, they are married. And if you really have a limited amount of time, you need to make sure that you devote your time to the most important things first. We tend to just put the important things in the back burner, and then we're like, oh my God, I need to do this. Dishes need to be done. Laundry needs to be done. The kid. I know everything needs to be done, but not at once. It will get done at the end of the week eventually. But what needs to get done first? You need to feed the kids. You need to feed yourself. That's very important. Your spouse does need attention as well. So I like to, the way how we kind of set up our schedule, we set up the schedule around the most important things. So time management is also pretty much the first thing that we start to do, because majority of the women I work with, they're overwhelmed with too many things to do in little time. So, all right, let's manage our time. We have 24 hours in a day. How do we use that time to our benefit? How do we make the best of these 24 hours in a day? Make sure you get your 8 hours of sleep for sure, which means what time you need to go to bed, what time you need to wake up. Do you need to set time for your children? Sleep train them. You may have to learn how to do that, because I have to sleep train my kids. So by 8 o'clock, I'm like, y'all go to bed. This is my time. I'm not don't come to my room or anything like that. So since little, we have them in the room. So there are certain boundaries that we also need to have with our children because mommy needs her mommy time. Yeah, there's so many things. Oh, so we just touch on the most important things. And usually when I work with people, I'm like, just give it at least 3 months. At least 3 months of coaching to make sure that you actually have the basic, what you need. If you need to go on your by yourself, go ahead. But at least try something for 3 months and then you tell me what you want to do later. Because after a week, people are like, it's not working. Well, it's not because we only talk like once. And usually when you talk to someone, you all bring out the things that usually are going wrong, usually. On the first meeting, we talk about everything that's wrong. So by the next meeting, now we kind of dissect every little things that are going on. What can we use first? So every coaching usually is different because each person who comes to me come up with a different situation, with a different problem, and then we have to go based on you, the individual.
What's the difference between having a coach versus having a therapist?
The therapist, let's say you're right here. The therapist start from where you are now and touch on your past. They try to deal with your past. They figure out what's in your past. And the coach, we start on a neutral base and we move forward. Sometimes the coach kind of have to understand your background a little bit to know how to better help you. Did you have any traumatic experience in your past? Is that's stopping you, that's blocking you from moving forward? Now, if you know the traumatic experience yourself, we share about that, we talk about that, but we don't go into detail. We this is why, what, my childhood was this. There's so many different, experience people are having. And we're like, okay, now if this, let's say past experience is really traumatic for you, I would recommend to see a therapist because the therapist will be able to help you in depth with this specific situation. But the coach, I'm not going to go back there because if you go into a really deep, moment, I may not be able to get you out of it. So we talk about that in our first free consultation. We try to figure it out where you are, why you can't move past it. And then if we're a good fit, then we work together. And there are times when I'm like, unfortunately, I don't have much experience in this traumatic, that situation experience you had. I will definitely recommend to find a therapist in your area that, someone that can help you. And most of the people do have their therapist and they also have a coach, which is the therapist. While you're working on your past with the coach now, we are putting together daily steps that you can take to move forward. The daily action that you can do to achieve your bigger goal, whatever it is. So while you're working on your past, you also know that you are working on your future goals as well.
If anyone is listening and they want a little help from you, how do they find you?
So you can find me on Instagram at Coach Sophie James. And that's usually where I answer most of my DM. I am most active on Instagram. And then you can find, I have a small Facebook community. It's Boost Your Confidence. So you can find me there as well. But you can find everything on my Instagram at Coach Sophie James. One word, Coach Sophie James.
Coach Sophie James.
That's simple. Yeah. Yes. You'll find me there and DM me. Tell me that you found me on Colleen podcast. And yeah.
That's great. One last question I do have to ask is, what do you think people need to work on more now than ever?
Your mental health is very important. And in order for you to tackle your mental health, it's self-care. What is self-care? It's just taking care of yourself as the individual. At that moment, you don't think about your kids. Your kid have been taken care of. They're either in bed or dad is watching them, or you have a friend who is at your house but watching the kid while you take 30 minutes in the bathroom. That's self-care to me. It doesn't have to be extreme. It doesn't have to be extravagant. You don't have to go to a spa and spend a lot of money. All it is just taking time for yourself to reflect, to understand your mind, to understand all the voices in your head, understand what you're going through, asking yourself really important question as what you need to do to get out of this funk, what you can do, what you should do. If it's hiring a coach, don't be scared. There's nothing wrong with hiring a coach. People are seeing this as taboo so nowadays. I'm like, it's not that crazy,
Yeah.
Self-care is very important. Take care of yourself mentally and physically.
I love it. Taking care of yourself. Thanks so much, Sophie James. I'm Carlene, and this is Diva Tonight. Hi, I'm Carlene, and this is Diva Tonight. We have for you a new artist. Her name is R. Shelley. You can find her on Instagram, and you can find her on Facebook, and her video is also on YouTube. We are featuring new artists this season. This is When We Were Young by R. Shelley.
It's been a long, long time since I've seen you. I hope you're doing fine. I hope that soon we'll be together. And I know this thing will last forever. Just gotta remembering the laughs and all the silly faces, all the different sights and all the different places, looking at a photograph of memories we made when we were young. Hey friend, sometimes it can get bad. Just know I'll lend a helping hand. I hope that soon it will get better. And I know this thing will last forever. Just gotta remembering the laughs and all the silly faces, all the different sights and all the different places, looking at a photograph of memories we made when we were young. Memories we made when we were young. Hold on, my dear. Just sing our year. I hope that we'll get through together. Just gotta remembering the laughs and all the silly faces, all the different sights and all the different places, looking at a photograph of memories we made. Remembering your smile and all your silly faces, all the things we did and all the time we wasted, looking back on photographs of memories we made when we were young. Memories we made when we were young. Memories we made when we were young. Memories we made when we were young.
Hi, I'm Carlene, and this is Diva Tonight.